Hi. So I know I said in the last one, by the latest Monday. Today's Tuesday. Sue me. Yesterday I ended up hanging out with my sister. She had the day off, and we ended up just watching like season and a half of Shameless. So that's what I did. Why I wasn't on here. So we were going to go over the NFC North projections, if you will, of what I was thinking about doing. So in order to do that, I have to tell you about the draft order for the first round. The first round goes Detroit, the Vikings, the Bears, the Packers. So here we go. With the 7th pick, I had Detroit taking Rashawn Slater. Why? Well, they desperately need tackle help. And I went through and was looking at who was available. And although Kyle Pitts was available, getting another receiving option at that point just didn't make any sense. I went and looked through it and was like, look, yeah, do they need receivers? Yeah, you really could. But you have no offensive line. So getting Rashawn Slater seemed to be a no-brainer. Next, with 14, I had the Vikings taking Elijah Vera Tucker. I have him playing guard first, probably. I like him a little better at guard, although he can definitely play tackle. So it's one of those where you go, that will be determined, of course, in practice. Who do you prefer? Do you prefer him at guard or tackle? The needs at tackle, but I like him a little more as a guard. I figured actually Rashawn Slater and Elijah Vera Tucker are actually comparable. They're similar. They can both do guard and tackle duties. So another reason why I thought that was a win-win situation for Detroit. Well, kick him out to tackle. If he starts to struggle at tackle, well, you don't have any guards either. With the 20th pick, I had the Bears taking Samuel Cosmi, tackle out of Oklahoma State. Again, they desperately need help on the offensive line. At 29, I had the Packers taking Caleb Farley. Again, he fell right to me. Corner out of Virginia Tech. I think that they would be in love with that pick. Sorry. And, that would just be something that they would be perfectly fine with. I know that there's concerns about his back. I read a report Saturday that said that he has checked all the boxes medically. So I'm not as concerned about his back as some people might be. With the 41st pick, it would be the first pick in the second round for this setup. The Lions, I have them taking Kelvin Joseph, corner out of Kentucky. Again, I looked at the receiving room, and there's depth there. So you go, well, you could take a pretty good receiver third, fourth round, where corners, they fall off the board pretty quickly, and you need a lot of help in the secondary. They pretty much need everything at this point. And I was a big fan of Kelvin Joseph. I like his tape. He's big. And so I thought that was a really good pick. The 52nd pick, the Bears take Wyatt Davis, guard out of Ohio State. Again, you desperately need help on the offensive line. So what are we going to do? We're going to put a lot of our draft stock, if you're the Bears, into giving whoever our future QB or currently it would be either Foles or Andy Dalton as much help in front of him as possible. I thought about taking a receiver, but I wasn't in love with the receivers that were available. I was looking around and I was like, a couple of these guys are going to fall, as well as the fact that you've got a couple good receivers. You're not screwed at that spot. Let me scroll up here. With the 62nd pick, I had the Packers taking Brady Christensen, offensive tackle Brigham Young. Why Brady Christensen? Well, at that point, he had fallen to you. I thought that was a really good pick for them. It also gives you a good tackle, good solid tackle, who played pretty well at BYU. And I don't think that you would be upset with that pick because it gives you, again, just a little more help with the offensive line that is getting kind of old. At 72, I have Detroit taking Tylan Wallace, Oklahoma State. So we were talking about receivers. There's your receiver right there. He's big. He's got really good hands. He fights for the ball. I thought that would be a great pick for them. And again, it gives you a guy that's bigger. He's not, 5'11". He's not 6 foot. He's like 6'4". So it gives you a really big guy to go throw the ball to. At 78, I have the Vikings making a bit of a strange pick here. So originally, I was going to have them go defense. I was like, they need help on defense. Let's go get you some defense. But the board happened to fall the way that it made it really intriguing. So at the 78th pick, I have the Vikings taking Brevin Jordan, tight end out of Miami. Why? Well, we know you've got Irv Smith, who is a all-around really good tight end. But if you put Brevin Jordan on the other side of him, that's going to open up your receivers. That's going to open up the run game because you can run it's going to open up the QB run game if you want to try and maybe run some kind of like QB draw off that, because they're going to all slide to Jordan's side if you keep throwing to him. And it also just gives you another really good weapon. And it was one of those things where I was looking at it, I was like, they also need another. You could use one more receiver. Well, how about we toss out the one more receiver argument? I got you one. He's a tight end. At 83, I have the Bears taking Tyson Campbell, corner out of Georgia. At 90, I have the Vikings taking Quincy Roche, edge rusher out of Miami. See, I didn't screw you. There was still a guy on the board that I think they'd be perfectly happy with if he fell there. At 92, I have the Packers taking Ben Cleveland, interior offensive lineman, Georgia. I looked at their depth chart, and, with the loss of Corey Linsley, you really need somebody big inside that can also possibly play center. I was thinking about kicking I knew this was going to happen. I can't think of his name now. The guy that they got out of a couple years ago. Hang on, I got to pull this up. No. Elton Jenkins. Like the guy from Mississippi State. I was thinking about kicking Elton Jenkins back to center and putting Ben Cleveland next to him. I think that would be a good position for the Packers. It would give you a really good center and a really good guard. With the 101st pick, I have the Lions taking Osa Odigizua, defensive lineman, UCLA. This was, again, he fell right to you, and you need help on the defensive line. And there's not a lot of depth at the defensive tackle position this year. So if you can get to an Osa Odigizua, I think you're in good shape. You get much further past him, and the depth is just garbage. And I was sent a tweet out to, I think it was Kevin. I think it was Scheffler. Forget who it was. It was either Adam Scheffler or somebody like that. I forget. They were talking about the defensive line depth. And they're like, once you get past about round 3, it's really bad. And at that point, I just kind of sent a thing to him and was like, yeah, but knowing Detroit, they're going to be like, hey, we have a 5th round pick. Let's take a defensive tackle that we've never heard of, because they do that a lot. At 112, I have the Lions taking Dylan Moses, linebacker out of Alabama. Again, fell right to you. They desperately need help at linebacker. The kid's pretty good, and I don't think you'd be upset with that pick. He traditionally plays middle, although I think he can play a little bit outside. I'd like to see him in the middle. They don't really have anything in the middle. But if you really wanted to kick him outside, it wouldn't be, I don't think, that difficult for him to learn. At 119, I have the Vikings taking Shaun Wade, corner, Ohio State. Now, I specifically put in here slot corner. Why? Looking back at it, he really struggled this year at that outside position. If you gave him somebody with some speed and the ability to separate, he just kind of struggled. So my thought was, okay, let's give him somebody who can cover in the slot. They've got Pat P. Let Pat P teach him how to set himself up a little better on the outside and just become the student, if you will, to somebody who is one of the best corners in the game. I think that would just be a really good pick. And I don't think that you guys – I don't think anybody that was with with the Vikings would be that upset about that pick. At 125, the Vikings take Robert Hainsey, Notre Dame. So why did I have them taking Hainsey? It has nothing to do with my Notre Dame bias. It's simply this. I was thinking about your offensive line, and I was like, you really need a tackle. You also need a guard. You got a really versatile pick in Vera Tucker. He's really good at playing guard. He's also a pretty good tackle. And then I thought about, well, where else can you go? And I went looking through the centers and, well, the interior alignments, what is designed as centers, guards, and I wasn't that thrilled with any of those picks. And I saw Robert Hainsey. Robert Hainsey can play inside. He can play guard. He can play center. So my thought was, okay, so let's say during spring practice you kick Vera Tucker outside and you still have a guard problem. Put Hainsey at guard. Let's say you throw Vera Tucker outside to tackle. He struggles for whatever reason. Okay, fine. You stick Vera Tucker inside and put Robert Hainsey outside. I just thought that was the perfect combination because now you have two pieces that can play both. At 134, the Vikings taking Richard LeCounte III, safety out of Georgia. He loves to hit people. He's very good at finding the ball. I thought that was, again, fell right to you. You're hearing me say that a lot. This draft board, that happened quite a bit, where I was like, crap. Sitting there going, they really need, safety. The safeties are kind of depleted. And then I was like, Richard LeCounte. He fits you perfectly. 135, I have the Packers taking Justin Hilliard, linebacker, Ohio State. They need some depth at linebacker. I think he helps you there. At 142, I have the Packers taking Daz Newsome, wide receiver, North Carolina. Kid can fly. And he isn't the best pick that I made for the Packers in this setup either. That pick comes later. The crown jewel, if you will, of my picks that I made. 143, I have the Vikings taking Kyrus Tonga, defensive tackle, BYU. Kid's big. He pushes people out of the way. My comp on him really is Linval Joseph. At 153, the Lions take Caden Stearns, safety out of Texas. Kid made interception after interception after interception when he played at Texas. Something that the Lions desperately need is some depth and somebody who can actually be not just the run downhill and hit somebody safety, but somebody who can really cover. At 157, I have the Vikings taking Tony Fields II, linebacker out of West Virginia. I specifically put next to this project. He does a couple things really well. He does a couple things, even I would argue, to just, above and beyond what you would ask him to do. However, he also struggles with some things. So it's one of those where you go, okay, you stick him in this defense and you teach him up and you get him used to what it is that you want to do. And I think within the next 2 years or so, he could become a really good linebacker for your team. At 164, I have the Bears taking Daryl Slayton, defensive tackle, Florida. Again, you really need some help at D-tackle. This kid is slippery. I think he would be a great pick. At 168, I have the Vikings taking Cornell Powell, wide receiver, Clemson. Gives you a really good slot weapon. He's fast, and he's got really good hands, and he tracks the ball quite well. I thought that was a really, really good pick for them. And also, again, you say there's a lot, depth. One of those where you go, well, now if something happens to one of our other receivers, we don't go, well, I guess I got to go to the undrafted guy who dropped every other pass in practice because we don't have any other options. So, along those lines. You got a guy then that's pretty good. This is my crown jewel for Packers fans right here. With the 173rd pick, the Packers take Jalen Darton, North Texas. Now I know you're going to say, really? You want a guy from North Texas? I turned on his tape and I was stunned because I looked at his height and they're like, he's fast. I'm like, okay. Well, we've heard that story 1,000 times. Oh, the guy's like 5'9", and he can run really fast. And what else does he do? Well, nothing. He's really fast. Cool. No, this dude is fast. He is shifty, and he likes to hit people. He wants to lower that shoulder and make you know that, guess what? You're playing me. And that's something that I think the Packers really need. Also, he does kick return. Something else the Packers could really use a hand. So I think that would be a huge pickup for them. And I think that he is just a Packer. I watched his tape, and that was just the first thing that came out of my mouth was, oh, this dude's a Packer. At 178, the Packers take Darius Stills, defensive tackle, West Virginia. You could really use another guy that can play interior, especially if you go to 4-3 for like third down, or if you need to just take Kenny Clark out. We noticed that last year when Kenny Clark went down with an injury, they were screwed in the middle. And I think Darius Stills can really help you in the middle. He's a really good D tackle. If nothing else, he eats blocks, which is kind of what your job is in the 3-4 setup, is that it's the ends that get loose to go around, which they have two excellent ones. And the guy in the middle is just there to eat blockers and make the linebackers have a slot to slide through. And I think he can do that quite well at this next level. At 199, I have the Vikings taking Carlo Kemp, defensive tackle, Michigan. Why did I have you do that? Well, I looked at your D tackles. They're not that impressive. You could use another guy who could at least battle for a start, battle on the depth chart. But also, I watched some tape on him at Michigan, and although I wasn't all that impressed, I noticed he played some edge. And my thought was, oh, well, he could be set up as a D tackle if you really want him to play D tackle, but you could also put him at one of the edge spots for third down and let him rush the passer. At 204, I have the Bears taking Joshua Kando, edge, Florida State. So previously I had said that I wasn't that thrilled with Joshua Kando. I went back and watched a little tape, and the dude's raw. All right, he needs a lot of help. But I then thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, well, what team would be great for him to go to? There's a couple teams that popped up early that I thought, well, they could take him. They need an edge. And then I was like, well, okay, so he's going to be a okay edge. In 2-3 years, he's going to be buried on the depth chart and get cut. The Bears have an older guy already on your team that plays that linebacker edge thing that they do, and that's Robert Quinn. And I thought, hey, if you stick Kando behind Quinn could teach this kid up. He might be able to learn how to use his hands a little better and get loose and really be able to help the team. I thought that was a pretty good pick for them. Again, one of those where you go, it's going to be a project, but it's a project you're willing to dedicate a little money to because of what the upside is. The upside is this dude's huge. He can rush the passer. He's proven that in college. He's good at getting after the QB with at least pressures, if not sacks. He struggles a little bit in run. Okay. Well, we can teach you that. Just thought it'd be a good move on their part. At 208, 4 picks later, I have the Bears taking Brady White, quarterback out of Memphis. I know people are going to argue about, really, you're getting them another quarterback. Well, I looked at your depth chart, and I looked at who you have at quarterback, and it's next to nothing. And you have Andy Dalton, who has a decent arm, but he's getting old. You have Foles, who has a meh arm, but he's really good and short. Notice you didn't have anybody that could really, change the offense. I'm not saying Brady White could be that guy, but when you turn on Memphis tape, the kid's impressive. He does a lot of really good things. He's got a little bit of mobility. He's really good with his vision. I just thought that, hey, if you need a quarterback, sitting here, he's still there. Doesn't hurt to get you a guy that can help you play that position. So at 214, I have the Packers taking Jarrett Patterson, running back out of Buffalo. Why? Looked at your team, looked at what you got. You need a little help at running back, not a lot, but a guy that could maybe be your third down guy, or I don't like using this word, the game changer, a guy that is your change of pace back, and Jarrett Patterson does that. At 220, I have the Packers taking Matt Bushman, tight end of BYU. Now, again, I can hear the Packers fans going, you got us another guy that can block, and he's a meh receiver. Well, in the case of Bushman, he's actually a pretty good receiver, but yes, mainly I got him because he can block. I've noticed that you've gone more to the run-heavy type setup, and I really think he can help you there. Imagine putting 2 tight ends on the field, and those 2 tight ends are Matt Bushman, and now I'm crapping out on his name, and I know it. The kid from Indiana State. Crap. Hang on, I gotta look it up. My brain just totally gave up. I had his name up here, and now it's gone. And yeah, that's real helpful. It gives me all of them. It's like, did you know that Jared Cook? That's not helpful right this second. Yes, I did know that. ESPN and their broken site, which sucks. Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan. That is a really good tight end group if you get both of them on the field. 221, I had the Bears taking Demetric Felton, wide receiver, UCLA. Why? Well, again, I looked at his tape, and I like that he plays running back. He plays receiver. He does a little bit in kick return. And he kind of reminded me of Patterson, who you guys recently had. And Cordero is probably a little faster than Felton, but he does a lot of the same things. And it's one of those where you go, hey, the Bears like to use these Swiss Army knife type guys. I just got you another one. At 228, the Bears take Luke Farrell, tight end, Ohio State. He's a big target in the red zone, and he's a big blocker. You can never have too many big blockers. And at 256, I had the Packers taking Paris Ford. They like to roll with multiple safeties. I figured, hey, this gives me one more safety that I could throw out there. Might even be able to play a little free safety and roam the middle of the field like a middle fielder. And I think that would just be a center fielder, middle fielder. I think that would just be something he would be really good at. And in this case, he fell, again, down the board. And at 256, that was really the only need on the needs list that was still up there. And I went looking through some of the other things that I thought they might need. I looked at a couple defensive ends. Wasn't that high. I went looking at receiver. I think we filled that void with the two receivers. I gotcha. Running back, Patterson was really it. After that, there wasn't a lot. I even looked at quarterbacks. And the only quarterback that I even had any interest in whatsoever was Book. And I don't see them taking him because they don't need him. I looked again at defense, corner, not a lot, nothing there. Linebacker, nothing there. And safety was the only spot where I said, hey, at least there's a guy here that, is valuable. So that's why I went with that. This next thing I'm going to do with you. And that is the NFC East. Now, I went ahead and snagged what do they refer to it as? The Pro package on the Draft Network. Feel free to go visit their site. It's really interesting. They've got a lot of really good articles about players that are available in this draft. You can also do mock drafts, which is the thing that I do the most because it's fun. There they are, Washington. We're going to do the NFC East. I'm going to do it on here so you guys can kind of hear my thoughts while I'm doing it. I talk to myself while I do it anyway, and I was like, when I end up doing this recap, I repeat basically what I said, and then I have to explain the why. And it's like, it'd be so much easier if I could just do this and tell you why while I'm picking them. Now, I have trades on, obviously. I don't think I'm really going to do any trades. I went through and kind of just looked at to see how that works on here, and I don't like any of them. Oh, yeah, we'll cough up. You cough up the 11th pick, and we'll give you 29. In what world would I take that? Okay. And here we go. I'll roll down the picks when we get to my next selection, which is at 10. Okay. Okay. So to give you an idea of what the trades sound like, I have the Bears offering me 20. I'm at 10. That doesn't make any sense. 52, 164, and 228. For the sake of argument, let me see what their draft picks look like. I don't want to see. Thank you. I hate when it does this. Here's the 10,000 other articles for the thing that you're not looking for. All right, they have 10, 44, 75, 98, 115, 138, 79, 179, 192, 227, and 239. The only reason I would even consider this is because I then have an extra 5 and another 6, which would be helpful. And I would be coughing up what? Just my first rounder? Not really all that interested. Hang on, let me scroll down. Another offer is from the Patriots. That's actually kind of tempting. They would cough up the 15th pick, and I would then lose the 10th. I'm going to look to see who's available first before I obviously make a decision. Then the Jets offered me 23, 34, and 107. That's not even in the realm of possibility. So let me scroll over to the Patriots because that would be the only one I would even consider. Counteroffer. So my counteroffer could be any of these. I'm not going to do that. I would be coughing up my first and my third and I'd be getting the first. So I'd be coughing up number 10 and 99, and I'd be getting 1 and 46, or 15 and 46. So let me hide that real quick, and let me just see who's on the board, because I might be more interested in that. Oh, yeah, we're not taking any deal. Nope. And we're going to take Patrick Surtain, because the best cover corner is still on the board. I always do that because every once in a while, like, the Broncos take him, and then you sit here and go, well, crap. Hang on. Come here. I had trouble with this last time, so. All right, so now I have the Giants, and they need receiver, edge, corner, linebacker, tackle. Both of the top receivers are still on the board. My number 2 tackle is still, or number 3 tackle is still on the board because I will count Elijah Vera Tucker as a tackle for the sake of argument. He's really an interior lineman on here, but let's call him a tackle to save. Jalen Phillips is still there. Barmore is still there. They could use another interior guy. It's not on here as that, but I know they'd love to have another interior tackle. Yeah, I can see there's Elijah Vera Tucker. Jeremiah Owusu still on the board. They do need another linebacker, but that's not what I would get them. You know what? I'm going to take Devontae Smith. He's still on the board. He's the number 1 wide receiver. I'll call him 1B, 1A and 1B, Chase, and then Devontae. Now the Eagles, wide receiver, tight end, corner. So I'm looking at the board, give you an idea of what I'm thinking. Wide receiver, tight end, corner. So you have Jalen Waddle, Mac Jones, who they don't need, J.C. Horn, Christian Darrisaw, Caleb Farley. So my first thought is tackle. Do they need tackle? Yes. Okay, so Darrisaw arguably could be on the board. I don't like him at that spot. If I slid back to like 17, maybe. But for right now, let's say no. Wide receiver, Jalen Waddle. I'm not in love with Jalen Waddle simply because although he has immense speed, you've already got a guy that's little. And I don't like having 2 little guys. It drives me nuts. Not saying I'm completely disagreeing that, they take him. I'm just saying for the sake of argument, hey, I personally don't like that that's a little guy. When you've already got one, you've got Jalen Reagor. Corner. Well, J.C. Horn, Caleb Farley. I, of course, am not in a draft room with the people that are in charge with the Eagles, so I don't know how they feel about Farley. If everything I've read is true, that, hey, his back is fine. He had surgery I think he had surgery on it. It's going to be fine. He's not going to re-injure it. He'll be fine. Okay. Farley is a little bit better at going after the ball, but J.C. Horn's more aggressive. That can also burn you a little bit if he's super aggressive at one receiver and he blows by him. The safest pick would be Waddle. Now, I have to ask the question of who's available at tight end. Tight ends apparently also a need. So, Freiermuth, Tremble, Jordan, nope. So that answers that question. We're not doing that. I wanted to see if he was on the board somewhere. I figured he'd pop up, but then again, you never know. So the picks that have been made so far go exactly how I have it. Would you imagine that? Up until 5. So 1 was Trevor Lawrence, 2 was Zach Wilson, 3 was Justin Fields, 4 was Kyle Pitts, 5 was Jamar Chase, which I totally disagree with. You need offensive line help. 6 was Micah Parsons, which I find intriguing. I could see that happening. Penei Sewell goes to the Lions. I have them as possibly taking Penei Sewell. Sorry, I like to sit with my legs crossed, and I put my leg down, and then it bothered me that I had it that way. 8, Rashawn Slater. I see that happening to the Panthers. 9, Trey Lance going to the Broncos. Don't necessarily agree with that decision, but I'm not going to argue against it. Then I obviously took Surtain, Smith, and we're going to take Jalen Waddle. I think that's the biggest need for them. So, and I realize that's 3 Alabama guys in a row. That's not what I like to do, but I like to do 3 schools in a row. It drives me nuts. But at that point, say, okay, now I'm with Washington, and they want, let me scroll up. They want to give me, the Bucs want to give me the last pick and 64, which would be the last pick in round 2. And they want me to give them 19. I'm not in love with that trade, although if you weren't sure where you wanted to go, I could see it. And the Bears want to cough up, a 6th rounder. That always intrigues me. 6th round. They want me to move 1 pick back. That makes me really worried because I want to know what are you doing? Okay, I'm always going to do this. Can you hear me click counter offer? We're going to hide the counter offer sheet because I want to see what's on the board. Okay, tackle, linebacker, safety. So their top needs. Tackle, linebacker, safety, corner, wide receiver. Wide receivers on here more than once. That's why I included it. So I'll tell you what the board says. The board right now has Mac Jones, Jalen Phillips, Zaven Collins, Christian Barmore, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. At linebacker, my first 2 thoughts are Zaven Collins and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, 2 very different players. I purposely did this. Hang on. Boop. I pulled up their rosters. They don't have anybody really on the interior. Don't think they really have anybody on the exterior either. Just double checking my information. You're really quite good at safety. I mean, you've got enough of them to where you could make this work. Got a couple depth corners. Those guys could play if you really needed them to. Okay, he's an outside guy. I'm pretty sure. Mayo's an interior, but he's not. Jordan Kunziak. Not really in love with you either. Kalik, who I'm definitely not in love with. I mean, he's okay, but he generally plays outside. Cole Holcomb. You don't have anything. Bostic, who's a middle, but I'm not happy about that. All right, so this is where you hear me talk about, best available. Everyone's going to say that. Oh, got to take the best available guy. Well, there are 2 here. One's Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and the other one's Zaven Collins. Safety, we're not going to worry about that right this second. Tackle, obviously a very big concern, but those 2 linebackers are there, and linebacker is a huge position that you need. I'm looking at the tackle position, and there's a couple guys on here that I think might fall far enough. I'm going to take Zaven Collins, get you a little help in the middle. Now the Colts are on the board. Scroll down. 21, and I would receive 37 and 8. No. The Eagles wanted to trade it. No. Not even in the realm of possibility would I cough up, first of all, to you, a team that I have control of. Secondly, no, I'm not giving you my first round pick. It's not happening. Making sure it's paused. Oh, sorry. I don't have control of the Colts. My brain totally read that wrong. So the Eagles, I want to cough up 37 and 84 to get another first rounder. I don't like how much you're coughing up there. They want to give me their first round pick. Could we do that? I'm countering with, instead of my third round pick, my fourth round pick, my second and my fourth. That be willing to? The Colts are evaluating your offer. Congratulations, the Colts have accepted your offer. Look at that. I'm like, I don't want to give you my third rounder. I'd like to have a third round pick because I'm coughing up my second round pick. Well, then this is what's going to happen. So Eagles are back on the board. Pause. I don't want it to continue. So, Eagles. I just took Jalen Waddle at 12. We'll go over the picks here in a second. So, the picks are Jalen Waddle with the Eagles. Then it went J.C. Horn, Christian Darrisaw. That's the Chargers and the Vikings. Then Patriots took Rashad Bateman. Caleb Farley went to the Cardinals. Tevin Jenkins went to the Vegas Raiders. Elijah Moore jumped up and went to the Dolphins. I just took Zaven Collins with Washington. And the Bears took Mac Jones. Not a big fan of Mac Jones, to be perfectly honest with you there. Not a horrible pick. I wouldn't be upset about that. So the Eagles, we already took a receiver. So tight end corner. They wanted to trade out apparently. So, I mean, hey, if you want to do that, we're fine. We're going to take Greg Newsome. At that point, that's not even a debate. You go, okay, well, we need corner. Take Greg Newsome. And that'll get us. Oh, wait. Nope, we got another offer. I find this interesting. This is fun. Sorry, I've never done this before. I'm like, I always just sit. A 2 and a 3 to the Browns for the. No. Say like they want my 2 and my 3. The Browns want to give me 26 for 44 and 99. No. I'm comfortable where I'm sitting. Okay. Same thing with the Baltimore Ravens. No. No, because I would be coughing up too much. Same thing. Yeah, they want Washington's. No. It's one of those where you go, tempting, but no. 32 for 51 and 124. Okay, hang on. That one I'm actually interested in. It would cause Washington to have the last pick of the first round. So counter offer. Who's on the board? Yeah, go away. Ooh, yes. Yes, we are willing to do that. They want our, so what would go on here is, no. I'm not coughing. I'll cough up 1 7. I'm not coughing up both 7s. Hang on. I'd be coughing up a second round 51, fourth round 124, and one of my 7th rounders, which is 246 for the 32nd pick. Yes, we are willing to do that. I'm eliminating one of my 7th rounders because, again, although it's not that big of a deal on my end, it's worth thinking about and going, well, I want at least one pick in the 7th round. Bucks have accepted your offer. Yay. Okay. Why did I do that? I'll show you in a second. So make sure that we're not moving. We are. Hang on. Pause. So I took Zaven Collins, my first pick, which solved our linebacker problem. Tackle, safety, corner. Morig's still here, who we could go get. I don't think it's a huge need, but you could go get him. My main reason for being interested in this, you also need interior offensive line, and Elijah Vera Tucker's sitting right there. You take Elijah Vera Tucker if I'm the Washington football team. Because like I said with my comps for other teams, he can play both. So, hey, if he can play tackle, yay. If not, well, I need interior offensive line anyway. Go grab him. Yep. Giants. Pause. Okay. So here's the picks as of the beginning of the first round. So Trevon Moehrig went to the Jags. Sam Cosmi went to the Jets. Joe Tryon goes to the Falcons. Landon Dickerson goes to the Dolphins. Eric Stokes goes to the Colts, which would have been, I believe that's Washington's pick. No. Whoever I traded for that. The Bengals then go get Liam Eichenberg. I actually really like that pick. Kelvin Joseph goes to the Panthers. Aaron Robinson goes to the Broncos. Rondale Moore would go to the Lions. And now I'm on the board with edge, corner, linebacker. Interior offensive line and tackle. So let me pull up the Giants depth chart. Because sometimes there's things that are on here, and then you look at their depth chart and you go, well, yeah, you need one, but it's not a, oh my God, if we don't get him, the world will end. I have a pick in mind, so I'm trying to see if that's the bigger need. He's a guard. It says O-line. He's a guard. Mike Glennon, really? I'll walk you through my thoughts in a second. Hang on. I'm just seeing if what I think is here is here. Guard. I don't know. That's what wasn't guard anyway. Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah. Okay. So there's that. No. No. You're good at that position. I'm looking at offensive lineman. You can play if you really needed him to, so you're not screwed there. He's 100 years old, but he's still there anyway. Didn't like that pick when they made it. That's Andrew Thomas. But you know what? I always give at least a 3-year grace period where I'm not really going to freak out about certain things, simply because it takes a minute to learn the position. Okay. So looking through the Giants draft, they need a lot of help at edge. That's true. Linebacker, you've got depth at linebacker. You don't have anybody that's a stud. Corner, you could really use some corner help. I was looking at interior linemen because Creed Humphrey's sitting here. And I like him at center. He's a really good center. But there's another guy I'm looking at, and all I can think is, oh my goodness, if he fell, then you sprint the podium with this. And that's the pick I'm going to make, and that is Jason Owe from Penn State, giving you a really good edge rusher. Okay. I have trades. Hang on. Let me look. That's tempting. What am I picking at? Like 10? 44. So 44 to 59. Yeah, don't like that drop. So no. Most of the time I don't do trades. This is the first time I've ever actually been able to see trades. Ooh, wow. What am I coughing up? Oh, 44.99. I don't like falling back that far. Sorry, the Bills are offering me 61.93, 161, and 213. And I would have to give up 44.99. I don't mind coughing up those two picks for the run that would put me on. My problem is that I don't like going from 41 to 6 or 44 to 61. That's a problem to me. And then 57. Yeah, no, I'm just going to decline all of these and say no thank you. We're not interested. We're not interested because that would really put my team in a bind that I'm picking for. So that caused so we took Jason Owe. The Niners picked next. They took Travis Etienne. That would actually be hilarious. Simply because, I mean, geez. And that leaves Creed Humphrey going to the Cowboys. Somebody that they desperately could use, a nice center. At that point, that's one of those where you go, that guy fell to me. I know you need edge. I can get a okay edge guy later. This is a bigger need. Well, that hurt. That's not surprising. We'll go over these picks in a second. Hang on. Yep. Mm-hmm. Ooh. That's hilarious. With the Eagles, I'm not going to accept any trades because I don't want to. Pause. Okay. So what were the choices that were made after I made my pick? So I took Creed Humphrey. The next pick was the Jags. They took Carlos Boogie Basham. Then Javonte Williams went to the Patriots. Baron Browning went to the Chargers. Levi Onwuzurike went to the Las Vegas Raiders. Wyatt Davis went to the Cardinals. Peyton Turner went to the Dolphins. Ronnie Perkins went to the Bucks. Amari Rodgers went to the Bears. Dylan Radins went to the Titans. Brady Christensen went to the Colts. Quinn Meinerz went to the Steelers. Gregory Rousseau went to the they would never do that. Seahawks. Nick Bolton went to the Rams. De'Ami Brown went to the Ravens. Actually, not upset about that pick. Jabril Cox would then go to the Browns. Joseph Osai to the Saints. Asante Samuel Jr. to the Bills. Elijah Molden to the Green Bay Packers. Josh Meyer would then go, who's Ohio State offensive lineman, go to Kansas City. Nico Collins, wide receiver from Michigan, goes to the Bucks. Dwayne Eskridge goes to the Jags. Javonte Holland goes to the Jets. Davion Nixon, interior defensive lineman from Iowa, goes to the Texans. Milton Williams from Louisiana Tech would go to the Falcons. Jamar Johnson from Indiana then goes to the Bengals. And now I am on the board with the Eagles. And they need tight end, corner, safety. Linebacker, interior offensive line. I took Waddle, and I haven't taken anybody since. Okay, just double checking. Okay, so my first thought is tight end. Tight end, I have Pat Freiermuth, Tommy Tremble, and Brevin Jordan. My brain read two names at once. Those are really good picks. Any of those guys. In the case of the Eagles, personally, I think they'd go with Jordan. More of a receiving threat. That way you got two real good receivers. Unless you wanted to go blocking, then you could go with Freiermuth or Tremble. In that case, personally, I'd go with Trumbull, but that's because I know of his athleticism. He's super athletic, and he's a best blocker in the draft. Freiermuth is a very capable blocker. I'm not taking a dump on him at all. He's very, very good. But basically, of those two, I'd go with Trumbull. And it's not a Notre Dame thing. It's simply you watch him block, and it is next level. They need a corner right here on the board for the first. It's 5 picks. Yeah, there's 5 picks there on the board right this second. None of those are corners, but there is a safety, and that's Richie Grant. And I actually would love that pick. Going to the Eagles, they don't have anything at safety. There is a wide receiver that's on the board that I wish I could get for them, but they got Waddle. They don't really need him. Now let's look at the corner depth here real quick, because that is something that you're going to need, and it drops off pretty quickly. Ooh, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. Okay, so I got to consider that. What's available at linebacker, because they need linebackers. Jesus. Okay, and because I'm being thorough, interior offensive line. Wow. Whew. Yowza. All of those positions have pretty good depth, where any of those guys would be great in the top, 3-4 picks there. Just because I am me, who's behind Richie? Okay. I mean, kid can play, but I don't know. I'm not real high on him at this point. Oh, okay. I'm going to look at the Eagles' depth chart real quick, or depth chart, board. It's their roster. That's a non-mover. Arcega-Whiteside, who needs to learn how to do his deal now. Arnold, who, Avery, okay. Bocce, who I think could be a very good linebacker. He just needs some time to play. Barnett, who's really good. Sean Bradley, he's at Temple, right? Yeah. Brandon Brooks. So you got to think about that. Hakeem Butler, who is now a tight end. So really receiving-wise, you don't need a tight end at that position. You need a blocker. So that eliminates Brevin Jordan for me. I know there are some people who are probably still saying, well, he can block. He might be able to. Yeah, sorry, I'm moving the stool. He might be able to block, but to be honest with you, he's not my top guy for blocking. Fletcher, who is getting old. Chrome, so you got another tight end there. Dillard, who's really blossomed into a pretty decent tackle. Scully, Edwards. Okay, so that kind of eliminates my real big name for linebackers. Epps, yeah. Ertz, who I'm hearing they want to move on from. Flacco, which is hilarious. Fulgham, who's turned into a really, really good receiver. And the Lions stupidly let him go because that's what they do. They're stupid. One of those where you're like, hey, he came from kind of a small school, and I wasn't in love with the pick at first. And then I started watching him in practice and in preseason, and you're like, this kid attacks 50-50 balls pretty well. So, yeah. Goddard, who I need to see a little more out of. Graham, Hargraves. Anthony Harris. John Hightower. Oh, that's what happened to Elijah Holyfield. He went to you. Laverne Hill. Houston, Howard, Huntley. So running back, you're good. You've got plenty of depth there. Mainly looking for corner, safety. I didn't know you had Ross Pierce Baker. Okay. I think that makes my mind up for me. If I'm you, my first thoughts are corner safety. Tight end, not real high on the need. I know it is, but I'm looking at it going, look, you've got 2 tight ends that can play just fine. I can get one a little later and be okay. Not great, but okay. Safety, bit of a need. Corner, huge need. So at safety, although I love Richie Grant, there's some depth back there to where I'm not going to be that upset if some of these guys fall to where I am. And I think we can kill 2 birds here, because if he doesn't work out at corner, I can kick him to safety, and that is Ifeatu, how the hell you pronounce his name? Melanfanu. I can't pronounce your first name, sorry. I think it'd be good to get Melanfanu. He's big, a little bit of a project, not a huge project, but a little bit of a project with a couple of coverages. But hey, if for some reason he doesn't cut it at corner for whatever reason, you can put him at safety, and I don't think you'll be upset. Okay, again, I'm getting trade offers. No. Would you like a 5th round pick next year for your 3rd round pick now? No. Are you out of your mind? If you were a confident player, maybe we'd think about it. I'm at 74, right? Yeah. They want to give me 98, 218, and 229. No. So no, thank you. We're not interested. Not interested. Pause. There we go. Now with Washington again. Offensive tackle. Still a bit of a need. Linebacker we went and got. I got my interior guy with Elijah Vera Tucker, who I actually will count as a tackle for this because I like to start him at tackle first. So who went where? So we took Melanfanu. Pete Werner then went to the Broncos. Tyson Campbell went to the Lions, and Pat Freiermuth went to the Panthers. Not a bad choice. Safety, offensive tackle, we're not really going to count that. But it's one of those where you go, we'll count it in the case of, hey, if I see a guy and go, oh my God, we need him. Cool. Interior offensive line, we'll definitely cross that off the board because you can definitely play that. Safety, corner, wide receiver, corner, tight end, quarterback, wide receiver, running back, interior defensive line. So obviously you need receivers. So let's look at receivers. Even though I'm going to disagree with you because you have a couple of decent weapons, not saying it's not a need, just you don't need 9 of them. And I already have a guy in mind that I don't think any Washington football fan would be upset about. I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver out of USC. Tell me I'm wrong. Tackle, edge, tight end. This is for the Cowboys. Tackle, edge, tight end, interior defensive line, corner, safety, linebacker, quarterback, corner. I know it crosses those off. Once we go, if it's on here 3 times, they really need corners. Okay, so obviously my first thought is safety. Because if we can build a nucleus back in the backfield, we'll be fine. Richie Grant still available, so is Divine Diablo. Let me look at edge, because your defensive line is just horrendous. Quincy Roche. You need linebackers too. Let me look at the linebacker class. Who's available? Oh, well, that answers that question. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to have to think about that. Chaz Surratt's available. So I'm like, well, okay. Cameron McGrone, I'm not real high on Cameron McGrone. Okay. So at D tackle, something they desperately need, interior defensive tackle. Tommy Togiai, Marlon Tuipulatu out of USC, Jay Tufele out of USC, and Tyler Shelvin, out of LSU. So 2 big people movers, a guy who can get to the quarterback, and Togiai, who is a little bit of both. He's a people mover, and he can swim around and get you. Tackle's obviously still a need. I will consider looking at tackle, of course. But I'm just thinking, all right, so D-line, we got a good pick. Jalen Mayfield. I don't understand the fascination with Jalen Mayfield. I don't. I watched a bit of Michigan tape, as nauseating as it was, and to be perfectly honest with you, it sucked. It's like he has a couple of good moments, but he gets beat a lot. Not in love with any of those picks. So, okay. That narrows it down. Tight end is obviously still a choice, which in that case it's Tremble, Jordan, Yaboa, and Long. I'm actually, again, in love with all four of those guys. There's a fifth guy that I can't see who it is. Oh, Granson, who's decent. It's a good kid. Again, for the sake of argument, let's look. It's quarterbacks on the thing. So, all right, let's look. Guys who would be backups that could back him up, because I'm not going to look for a starter. So Kyle Trask is off the board. He's at 102. I'm not going to consider him because I would use him as that starting guy or to battle. And he's not going to do that in Dallas. Mond, very similar to what you've already got. So that could be a good backup piece. Mills, I don't understand the fascination with Davis Mills. He's good, but eh. And then Brady White. Okay, well, my concerns immediately first go to tight end, interior defensive line, linebacker, edge. Linebackers. So you've got give me a second, I can see his face. Leighton Vander Esch at middle, allegedly. You got my boy, Jalen Smith, on the outside. So if your concern is Vander Esch, which I would have that concern due to injury, he keeps getting hurt. So let's move back at middle. Let's move back at linebacker. You know what? We're going to do it. Take Chaz Surratt, linebacker, out of North Carolina. Why? I need a guy that's athletic who can cover. He can stick people when he needs to in the run game. And that gives me a viable option if Vander Esch goes down. And if Vander Esch can't stay healthy this year, got to start talking about letting him go. All right, now we're the Giants. Corner, linebacker, tackle, interior, linebacker, tight end, quarterback, safety. So with you guys, you have the opposite problem at tight end that most other teams have, which is you have basically a wide receiver at tight end. So my first two thoughts immediately are to go with Long or Tremble if we're going to go tight end. Hunter Long, blocker, good target. Tommy Tremble, elite blocker, athletic, could become a really good target. When he's used in the running or the passing game, he is pretty good. I got to move real quick. I'll be back in under a minute. I got to grab my medication. Today's Tuesday, right? Tuesday. I know what today is. I just need to know the day is indeed Tuesday. Okay. Need it in hand. My alarm's going to go off in 1 minute. So, corner. As I'm keeping all my options open, obviously as GM, if you will, of this team. There it is. Yes, that's my ringtone. And now I text my mom to let her know that I took it. I have a system. Sorry, I have to make sure I do it this way. There. Okay. So, corner. Benjamin St-Juste, big, shutdown, capable guy. Trill Williams, athletic, but I'm not thrilled with his tape from what I saw out of Syracuse. Elijah Griffin, who's really good, and Paulson Adebo. It's either Adebo or Adebo out of Stanford. Linebacker. Again, I don't like what's available at that point. Tackle. Stone Forsythe would be the only guy that I'd be really thrilled about. I mean, Mayfield we'd be willing to take because he'd sit at tackle. Who's available on the interior out of curiosity? There we go. Interior O-line. Ooh. Well, that answers that question. Okay, so corner. We're gonna have this discussion. Tight end. So tight end, I'm probably taking Tommy Tremble or Hunter Long, giving me two guys that can both block and be receiving weapons. There's that conversation. My next conversation, corner. Corner, Adebo, maybe. And who else did I say was on the board? It's Adebo and one other guy, Benjamin St-Juste. So those are my two options there. Linebacker, not in love with what's available. I think I can get it in the next round if need be. My biggest get would be an interior. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get Ben Cleveland, interior offensive lineman from Georgia. That allows us to be that power run team that you really want. Yes. Been offered a trade by the Las Vegas Raiders. They want to give me 79, and I would slide back. Or I would slide up, and they would slide back to 82, and I cough up a 7th-round pick. Yeah, I accept that. Okay. I took a receiver, didn't I? Hang on. It's not crossing certain things off when you like trade for that. So yeah, I'm on Ross St. Brown. So I thought, I got your receiver, didn't I? I did. Thanks for freaking me out for a second. He's available still, and I think you got to do it. If I'm the Washington football team, I get Richie Grant, safety out of UCF. The Dolphins want to trade with the Eagles. They want to give me 81, and I would cough up 84 and 226. Yeah, we're cool with that. So the Eagles jump up again. I'll be picking at 81. And we're going to take Divine Diablo, safety out of Virginia Tech. A little bit of a reach, but again, one of those where you go, hey, if you need a safety pretty bad, you do need a safety pretty badly. I slid up a couple spots. I didn't have to cough up a lot. The Bears want to move back with the Cowboys, and I would cough up 99 and 179 for 83. No, not 2020, 2021. Thank you. No. I was seeing how many 5th-round draft picks they have. They have one, so no. If I had like two, think about it, but no. Titans want to trade with you for 2 fourth-round picks. No, that's one of those where you go, no, we'll sit back. 86 for 99 and 192. That I'll take. It's not coughing up anything. As soon as you go, okay, so I slide up, 5 picks? All right. So, again, talking about who got taken. So, Cameron McGraw went to the sorry, I didn't talk about that either. So, hang on. I went with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Chaz Surratt, Ben Cleveland. Tommy Tremble then went to the Chargers. Tyron Wallace went to the Vikings. Richie Grant, we picked up for the Washington football team. Cameron McGraw went to the Vegas Raiders. Divine Diablo got picked up by the Eagles. Brevin Jordan went to Vegas. Janarius Robinson went to the Bears. Michael Carter went to the Dolphins. And Paulson Adebo went to the Titans. Now I'm with the Dallas Cowboys. I traded from 91 to 86. I also coughed up like a 6th-round pick. So that's one of those things where you go, okay, for the sake of 6th round, I don't care if I have to cough up a couple 6th-round picks. You can, to move up a few picks would be worth it. Now, when they were offering me like moving up 9 picks, but we get your 4th rounder, 5th rounder in this, no, because I'm coughing up too much real estate. So corner, tackle. I hate that it doesn't do this. All right, with the Surtain, so I went and got a corner. Still need another corner. Humphrey, so I got my interior. Surratt, so I got a linebacker. Okay. It doesn't cross stuff off when you trade for these picks. So I got my corner. I still need another corner. Tackle, edge, tight end. That's going to be hard to overlook. Tackle. Jalen Mayfield's still on the board. It's just one of those where you go, I just don't know. I could see that being a move. I wouldn't be upset with it at that point. You're at 86, taking Jalen Mayfield. I could at least see the argument being made that, hey, he's at the time the guy that you want on the offensive line at that point, also because he would have a guy to sit behind for a minute. Edge, tight end, corner. Corner. Who's still available at corner? Okay. Benjamin St. Juste, Elijah Griffin, Trill Williams, Robert Roche, Israel Makwamu, and Sean Wade, and then Trey Brown. Trey Brown would be a good pick. But I can sit back a little bit and wait for him maybe to fall. Maybe. Be worth looking at. So I think of this defense, and this defense sucked last year. D-tackle, there's still a couple good picks, but it's not a huge need according to the board. Although, no, there it is. Sorry. According to the board, I saw interior O-line, and the Ds and the Os look similar. I think he'll be sitting there when I come back around, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to take an edge rusher, and I'm going to take Quincy Roche, edge rusher out of Miami. At that point, again, he just kind of falls into your lap, and you go, look, we need that position. You take it. No. Green Bay's offering me a trade, 92 for 115 and 227. No, we'll wait. We'll sit. That's what I thought you'd do. Like, they're going to take an interior defensive lineman anyway. That's not the guy I want, so you go ahead and take him. Okay, so 106, 145. And I cough up my 4th rounder, which is 116. So I move up 10 picks there, and 2 6s. No, not for the 2 6. If it was one, I'll count them. Leave me one of my 6. Leave me 196 and 201. Leave me 196. We got a deal. Or leave me 201. Sorry, leave me 201. We got a deal. Now I'm not coughing up a lot. There we go. Cool. Jags accept my trade. Okay. So now we move up in front of the Jags. The Giants move up in front of the Jags. The picks that have been made so far, let me make sure we're paused because I don't want it to take somebody for me because I hate when it does that. I've had it happen before and it sucks. Okay, so we took Quincy Roche. The Steelers then took Davis Mills. Jalen Mayfield then went to the Rams. Benjamin St. Juste went to the Browns. Elijah Griffin went to the Vikings. That's a really good pick. Trey Smith went to the Browns. Tommy Togiai went to the Green Bay Packers. Hunter Long went to the Bills. Derek Barnes from Purdue went to the Chiefs. Jackson Carman went to the Bucks. Dylan Moses went to the Patriots. Spencer Brown went to the Chargers. Atwell from Louisville went to the Steelers. Deontay Brown, interior offensive lineman from Alabama, went to the Jets. Kellen Mond went to the Titans. Kyle Trask went to the Lions. Jordan Smith went to the Niners. Victor Dumukier, I think is how you pronounce his name, edge, went to the Rams. Hasim Nasruddin went to the Ravens. Trill Williams went to the Saints. And now we're kicking off the fourth round, in which I need one of those things where you go, I wish I was writing this down so I could keep track, because I hate that it keeps popping up and going, well, you didn't pick this person. I know I did. So the Giants, we got Cleveland, Owe, and Devontae Smith. You need a corner and a linebacker. I'm going to take Trey Brown, corner out of Oklahoma. I looked at Sean Wade, but I'm not as in love with Sean Wade for that team because they don't need a slot guy. 110 for 115. If that was all you were offering me, I'd be willing to do it, but I'm not caught. Oh, a seventh rounder next year? Oh, yeah. oh, Jesus. Of course. Okay, so the picks that were made after that. Trey Brown went to the Giants, like I said. Frank Darby from Arizona State then went to the Jets. Kenneth Gainwell went to the Falcons. Hamilcar Rashid. I'm not even sure how you pronounce. I'm sure I mispronounced your name. Oregon State. He's an edge guy. Went to the Texans, and now we're with the Cowboys. So my first thought immediately is Sean Wade. Why? Well, now I've got two guys on the outside. I need a guy in the middle. Something he already does pretty well. I need a tight end. Which, who's still available at the tight end position? Yaboa. I mean, that'd be pretty good. Tackle. Stone Forsythe. Again, I don't love him for that team. Interior D. What's my next pick for you? Ooh. Okay, so I'll tell you where I'm sitting. I'm sitting at a crossroad right now. I get a really good interior defensive tackle. I'm looking at either Shelvin or Tafili. I'm leaning towards Jay Tafili. Or I could take Sean Wade, and we could then have a backfield that is more than competent and could battle the NFC East, who has a lot of receivers, including the Giants, who we just picked for. You know what? I think at least one of those guys is going to be available in the next round. I could be wrong. I'm going to go with Sean Wade. It just makes sense. At that point, I got two bookends at corner who can patrol the outside, and then that gives me a big guy in the middle. No. Sorry, it was a trade. No, I'm not interested in that trade. Liked what I would get, didn't care for what I would be giving up. Oh, there goes Shevlin and Tufili. Well, look at that. They're both gone. Well, that's the gamble you got to take sometimes. There goes Yaboa. Now we're back on the board. All right. Pause. Okay, so the picks that have been made. Scroll down to the Cowboys. All right, after that, the Bengals took Aaron Banks. Really love that pick because he's a serious guard. Also play a little bit of center, but I prefer him at guard. Tyree Gillespie went to the Lions. Panthers took Trey Sermon. That's a really good pick. Ardarius Washington went to the Bucks. Adedekemba Ogundenji went to the Browns. Marlon Tuipulatu, I think is how you pronounce his name. USC went to the Jags. Seth Williams went to I actually like that pick, went to the Niners. Patrick Jones II went to the Chargers. Kendrick Green went to the Vikings. Jamie Newman then went to the Patriots. Andre Cisco went to the Vegas Raiders. Sample went to the Patriots. Dez Fitzpatrick, if I could read, went to the Colts. Jay Tufele then went to the Bucks. Deo Odenegbo went to the Vikings. Tyler Shevlin then went to the Titans. McNeil went to the Colts. James Hudson, the tackle, went to the Steelers. Robert O'Shea, corner out of Central Arkansas, then went to the Seahawks. I could see them doing that. Ramondre Stevenson then went to the Jags. Stone Forsythe to the Ravens. Daz Newsome to the Browns. Kenny Yeboah got picked up by the Saints. Jacoby Stevens went to the Vikings. Cade Johnson went to the Green Bay Packers. Deontay Smith went to the Chiefs. Kylan Hill went to the Bucks. And now we're picking at 138. Okay, so corner, we don't need corner. You're good there. You don't need a corner. Ooh, Ely. I like Ely. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Just going to put that out there now beforehand. So if I suddenly lean out of view and you hear a loud noise, don't freak out. It's me. Oh, I didn't know he was still on board. Okay. Well, no, we're not completely screwed then. Edge, I already got. I went and got a guy. Tackle. I keep thinking tackle. It's one of those where you go, this is where that's going to start to thin out. So my top 3 picks at tackle. Hainsey is at 132. 152 would be Walker Little. I'm not as high on Walker Little as some people are. Brennan James, Nebraska, who I'm pretty high on. I like him here, especially in round 4. And Adrian Ely from Oklahoma. So I'm split between Hainsey and Ely. Why? Hainsey can play interior guard if that's what you need him to do. Ely, I like better at tackle. Because I'm going to cheat a little, let's see what the Draft Network has to say about Ely. He fits your scheme. It says he needs to sit. And then obviously Hainsey, low end starting offensive tackle. 3 years starting. Ideal role as a backup? No. Disagree on that. Okay. Well, I'm going to take Adrian Ely because I think he fits your scheme a little better. And if he has to sit for a year, it's not going to kill you. Whereas Hainsey, that would actually, I think, hurt him if he had to sit. I think he should play now. That's just me. All right, my next pick is the Giants. All right, so we took Ely. Then Twyman went off the board to the Patriots. Makwamu went to the Steelers. Rodarius Williams went to the Rams. Trey Hill went to the Packers. Marvin Wilson went to the Vikings. And then Kylan Granson went to the Chiefs. I'm going to take Robert Hainsey here. Why they need a tackle? He can also play guard, and he will probably, again, I don't like that he might have to sit. It's going to be really dark in here in a second. Hang on. I just realized that. You guys are like, we can't see you. Hang on. I just want to bet that light switch is off. Hang on. I got to flip the switch on. There we go. Look at that. And then there was light. Okay. Although I don't want him to sit, I understand if he does. Not the end of the world. Not a huge fan of having him sit, but I think Nate Solder could teach him up. And I know he played right, but it's one of those where you go, I think he can play left. I think he'd be fine. No. It's 2 picks. It's one of those where you go, no, we'll let it slide. All right, so Embry Thomas went to the Jets. John Bates went to the Texans. Walker Little went to the Falcons. Keith Taylor went to the Bengals. Next is the Eagles tight end. I picked a safety for you, didn't I? I'm 95% certain I already did that. Yeah, I got Divine Diablo. Linebacker interior. Okay. So let's see who's available at linebacker. That's high on him. I really like him, though. Okay. Tight end. Again, not going to be on the level with what I'm going to see here. Oh, Miller Forsythe. He can play. We need a blocker. I mean, that is what he does. Linebacker interior. What's available in the interior? Tommy, who I'm not real high on. As much as I love Tommy Kramer, it's one of those where you go, he's got a lot of issues. So the Eagles, I have them taking Osa Odigizua. At that point, again, kind of just falls into your lap. You got to take the best guy available, and that would be the best guy on my board at that point for what they need. You'll notice a lot of defense being taken and offensive linemen, something that this entire division kind of doesn't have. Okay, so I took Osa Odigizua. Hufanga went next, then David Moore, then Monty Rice, then Chuba Hubbard, then James Wiggins, Tredell Slayton, Trey McKitty, Marco Wilson, Richard LeCount, Anthony Schwartz, Javion Hawkins, and Kari Vincent. Now I'm with Washington football team. Running back. I think you're okay at running back. Again, depth, yeah, but you're okay at that point. Interior offensive line. It's at the bottom, so every time I scroll just past it, it goes away. So Darius Hudson, if I remember correctly, he's actually pretty okay, but it was a little work. Yeah, he's been there for 4 years. You know what? I like it. I'm saying, if I remember correctly, I thought he played for 3 years. He played for 4. Okay. The Washington football team will take Sedarius Hutchinson, out of South Carolina. Giving you a big guard that you could work up and get him to really be a heck of a player. We're going into round 5, so this is where you're going to hear me talk more about being willing to cough up people, because this is where we start to get into the really area. Okay, that answers that question. So I'm now. I'm not going to go over who got picked because it doesn't matter. At this point, I'm just sick of reading it. So, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm going to go ahead and take Bobby Brown, the third out of Texas A&M. Need a big guy in the middle that can eat blocks. He does that. He can also run stuff, something that they need some help with. Okay, now I'm with the Eagles. You take Brady Breeze, assuming I didn't get somebody else for you already. Osa. Oh, that's right. I got Diablo. I keep forgetting it doesn't cross it off the list, and it drives me nuts. Okay, well, in that case, you need interior and linebacker. That's why I know who he is. Okay. I recognize that name, but I don't remember him playing for them. That's why. Okay. The Eagles are going to take we're going to take Josh Sills, guard out of Oklahoma State. His pad level rises a little bit after it. I was reading the comp because I was like, if I remember correctly, he did okay at West Virginia. He did pretty well at West Virginia, but I don't know how that will work in a non-up tempo type system. And it says his pad level rises a little bit. But I think you could coach that out of him, especially since you've got weapons. Corner and linebacker. Who's available linebacker? Corner. You know what? I think you'd be okay with that pick. The Giants are going to take Noah Gray. I thought about Njili or Bushman, but I think Gray has a little more upside as a receiver, which is something they kind of need. Sorry, staring at screens drives me nuts for a minute. I'm also kind of racking my brain as to what I want to do next. Eubanks. I'm just not in love with Eubanks. No matter what he's going to do, it's like, it's Nick Eubanks. All right. Tight end, safety, linebacker. All right, I got you, safety. Linebacker, you could use a little help at, but I don't think there's going to be anybody left really on the board that I'm that thrilled with. Oh, and I stand corrected. Take Tough Borland. The Eagles take Tough Borland. Davidson, that's who it is. I kept seeing that. I'm like, NCAA. Who on earth? Oh, that's right, from Central Missouri. Oh, that was my hip. Actually felt kind of good. Sorry, I rolled into a spot on my hip to get it to crack. No. No. All right, cool. The Cowboys will take LaRon Stokes out of Oklahoma. Thought about taking Tough Borland, but he's already off the board. So I took him to the Eagles. Eagles are back on the clock. And I know exactly where we're going to go. Eagles are going to take. Where'd he go? I know he's on here. There he is. Matt Bushman out of BYU. It's actually a split. I'll say this. It's either Bushman or from Luke Farrell. The other good choice. Looking for guys that can block. And I like him more as a receiving threat with them, which I think he gives him a little bit of edge over Farrell. Which leaves the Cowboys to go ahead and take Luke Farrell, giving you a blocker and a guy that can hurt you in the red zone. That's one of the nice things about this particular class or this particular division is that, I don't have to go, oh, crap, who do I take? It's like, oh, well, you all relatively have the same problem. So although certain guys don't fit other teams, it gives me an ability to kind of work around. Oh, look at that. Joshua Kando is available. We're going to put him with the Eagles. That's it, right? Yep. And that's that. That's the NFC East. We'll go over it in a second. I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm not going to be like, well, I hope you remembered everything I did. Okay. The trading thing makes it a lot more complicated because I actually have to think about that now. Okay. So, my picks. At 10 with the Dallas, we went with Patrick Surtain, which was an obvious choice. At 11, we took Devontae Smith with the Giants. At 12, with the Eagles, we took Jalen Waddle. Not on purpose taking Alabama kids, it's just that's how it fell. 19, the Washington Redskins, we took Zaven Collins. And then I traded for 21 and took Greg Newsome, corner for the Eagles. At 32, again, a trade. The Washington football team took Elijah Vera Tucker, interior offensive lineman, USC, Southern California. Sorry, I watched a video the other day and someone was trying to tell me about somebody and they're like, yeah, you played for USC. And my brain kept going, okay, so Southern Cal. And he's like, yeah, the guy played for this team. I'm like, no one under Southern Cal's played for that team. It was like receiver or something like that. I'm like, nope. Pretty sure I remembered that in the last 4 drafts. And he's like, yeah, this guy, Southern Cal. I'm like, or he kept saying USC. And I'm like, yeah, Southern Cal. No, nobody came out. And he's like, no, South Carolina. And I'm like, what? So, yeah, sorry. Now my brain keeps doing that, keeps tricking me. 42, I had the Giants taking Jason Owe. 44, I have the Dallas Cowboys taking Great Humphrey. At 70, I have Melvin Fanu. I'm not going to try and pronounce your first name. Sorry, I'm going to murder it. So that kills 2 birds with 1 stone. I already have a really good corner that I took, and now I've got another really good corner that I took. And if he doesn't work out at corner, I can throw him to safety. 74, I believe that was a trade. I have the Washington football team taking Amon-Ra St. Brown. 75, I have the Dallas Cowboys taking Chaz Surratt, linebacker out of North Carolina. 76, I have the Giants taking Ben Cleveland, interior offensive lineman, Georgia. At 79, I believe that was a trade. The Washington football team. My brain keeps reading that and going this because I said it for so long and now it's not it. I have them taking Richie Grant, safety out of University of Central Florida. At 81, I have the Eagles taking Divine Diablo. At 86, I have the Dallas Cowboys taking Quincy Roche. At 106, I have the Giants taking Trey Brown. At 110, I have the Cowboys taking Sean Wade. At 138, I have the Cowboys taking Adrian Ely. At 145, I have the Giants taking Robert Hainsey. At 150, I have the Eagles taking Osa Odigizua. At 163, I have the Washington football team taking Sedarius Hutcherson, interior offensive lineman, South Carolina. 179, I have Bobby Brown III, Texas A&M interior defensive lineman, going to the Cowboys. At 189, I have the Eagles taking Josh Sills, interior offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman, Oklahoma State. At 201, I have the Giants taking Noah Gray, tight end out of Duke. At 224, I have the Eagles taking Tuff Borland. At 227, I have the Cowboys taking LaRon Stokes. 234, I have the Eagles taking Matt Bushman. 238, I have the Cowboys taking Luke Farrell. And at 240, I have the Eagles taking Joshua Kando. Sorry this lasted so long. I wanted to do that. There. Now you know that I did indeed do the NFC East. I will do the NFC West next. I'm not going to do it on here. Don't worry. I'll cover it on here, but I'm not going to do this whole thing again. This was just an experiment. All right. Whew. Thank you so much for staying with me. I know it was a long process, but hey, I wanted to see if we could do this on here. When I do my official mock, which again will be I think it's next week for the first round only, I'll probably do it on here because then I can walk you through my thoughts for that, which is a lot easier and will take probably like 20 minutes. All right. See ya.